In this video, we're going to use visual algebra strategies to solve word problems. We'll solve it using a strip diagram, and then we'll reconsider the problem and think from a teacher perspective, how could I change the numbers to still make it reasonable for students to work with? The Jones family gave away 4/7 of their Halloween candy to trick-or-treaters. They ate half of the remaining candy. Mrs. Jones took the rest, 21 pieces, to work for her colleagues. How many pieces did they give to trick-or-treaters? So here we'll be setting up one single strip because that's going to be our whole, and then we're taking a fraction of a whole. So I know that I'm going to need to have my strip represent 7/7, one whole. So I'm going to start by breaking that up. This will be 1/7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I tried to make those about equal size. And the whole thing represents all Halloween candy. They gave away 4/7 of their Halloween candy, so we'll mark out 4 of the 7 boxes. Here I'm going to copy down the remaining because it's hard to break my 3 pieces in half. So I copy down the total strip without the subdivisions in it because next I note that they ate half of the candy. So I can cut this in half. And we're left with 21 pieces that Mrs. Jones took to work. That's all of the information in our problem, so now we're ready to solve. First, I'm going to address the remaining candy. This strip is broken into 2 parts. One part is worth 21, so I can just double that to get the amount that was remaining. Next, I want to find out what the value of one part is in the remaining. So since the remaining on the top strip is divided into 3 equal parts, I'll take the 42 and divide by 3. Finally, the question asks, how many pieces did they give to the trick-or-treaters? So I'm looking for these 4 parts right here, but I know that one part is worth 14, so I need 4 parts to figure out the total number of pieces of candy that they gave to the trick-or-treaters. Note that I could have solved this another way. I could have noticed that I already knew that 3 parts were worth 42, and I needed 4 parts. So I could have just added 14 to 42 to get 56 to solve this. Let's look at this problem from the perspective of a teacher. Often teachers want to change the numbers in a problem so their students can have more practice. In this case, let's think about what numbers we could use to still have a nice solution where we have whole number amounts of candy. Let's keep the 4/7 the same, keep our picture the same, and think about what we could replace the 21 pieces with. As we look at the steps in our problem, we can double any number, we can multiply any number by 4, but the first thing we want to consider is not all numbers are divisible by 3. So this remaining amount of candy needs to be divisible by 3. Let's pick a number that's divisible by 3 and see if that's the only consideration. For example, if I chose 33 pieces remaining, I could do my division and get 11 pieces per part. I might think that I'm home free here, except when I go to figure out how many pieces Mrs. Jones took to work, I need to divide the 33 by 2. When I divide by 2, I don't get a whole number, and it's unlikely that Mrs. Jones would take part of a piece of candy to give to her colleagues. So, in other words, when we look at this, we need to have a number for the pieces remaining that's going to be divisible by 3 and divisible by 2. In other words, it needs to be divisible by 6. So the number of pieces remaining is going to have to be some multiple of 6, such that we can divide it by 3 and divide it by 2. So we'll have a number like, say, 36. And if we had 36 pieces remaining, then we would have Mrs. Jones give 18 pieces to her colleagues. So we will pick a number that's a multiple of 6 for the remaining amount of candy, and then just cut it in half to get the number of pieces that Mrs. Jones takes to work.